and welcome to Logan Sounds Off, where I talk about books, music, and a whole lot more. I'm your host, Logan Kelly.
Thanks for having me on the show, Logan.
The pleasure is mine.
Good.
So, welcome to Logan Sounds Off. For those who don't know you, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure thing. My name's Ryan Walsh, and I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, which is where I'm recording right here and live and work. And I'm a musician and a writer, and I've had a band called Hallelujah the Hills since late 2005. And I've written a lot about music and other topics. And in 2018, my first book was published by Penguin Press.
Yeah.
It's called Astral Weeks: A Secret History, 1968. And those are the bullet points.
So I'm going to ask now, how did you get into music?
Oh, okay. Well, I have two older brothers, and I really think they have a lot to do with it because they loved great music. And so, I think when other kids maybe were getting into in Boston in the 80s, New Kids on the Block, or maybe something a little cheesier or lighter, they had me listening to the Pogues and the Clash and Bruce Springsteen. And so I really loved it, and I would borrow or steal their cassettes for a little while so I could listen to it privately in my earphones, on my Walkman, on my bike.
Yeah.
And it just gave me music always just gave me the greatest feeling. But it took a while for me to believe that I could make it myself.
Wow. I've talked to a lot of people, and a lot of the time it's actually family members.
Sure, yeah.
And now I'm kind of following on from that. And who were your influences growing up, or your idols?
Well, I mean, like I said, my brothers were calling the shots for a while, and I love those bands. But probably the first band I decided, I think, to love myself was Faith No More. I don't know if you know them, but
yeah, Faith No More.
Yeah, from San Francisco area, and I just love them. I saw them so many times live. It's not the kind of music I make at all, but their music meant so much to me. I think it's so funny and interesting and cool, and it can be a bit goofy or a bit I don't even know what to say, but it's all kinds of things. They're not just one thing. And I really always appreciated that. So that was kind of the first, and that was middle school. And that's where I started to choose my own artists that I would, get interested in.
So you were saying there about your band, Hallelujah the Hills. Why did you start a band?
Why did I start a band? Well, because I just became addicted to music. And so many times listening to my favorite songs, I would be like, it must feel so good to sing this. If I was Joe Strummer, or if I was, I was like, what does it feel like?
Especially.
Yes, right.
Put that out there, yeah.
Yeah, and in fact, Logan, my first musical performance technically was, we had this thing called the kind of a lip sync contest, air band at summer camp, and you pretend you're playing the song and they play the track. Yeah. And so my brother selected the Clamp Down by the Clash. And we all did tennis rackets for guitar. So I was like,
oh, no way.
I was like Mick Jones with a tennis racket, I guess, playing rhythm guitar. What does he play in that song? I forget. But so that was my first taste of live performance even. And so, so it just kept me asking that question. What must it feel like to sing this song? Led to a slow path to try it myself.
Wow. So from Faith No More to the Clash, you love to go. Wow. And then you mentioned at the start of the interview, when I asked, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? You said about your book, Astral Weeks, and that it was published by Penguin Press. And I wanted to ask, why did you decide to write a book about Van Morrison?
Well, because his album Astral Weeks is just one of my favorites. And that was a little after the music we just talked about. I think it was the sort of the end of college where I discovered that album, Astro Weeks. I, of course, had heard Van's hits up until then and enjoyed them. And that album just meant so much to me. It was a lifeline for me during a difficult time. And, you know, everyone knows Van's from Ireland, especially you, I'm sure, being there. And so it would, so when I heard rumors or whispers or insinuations that Astro Weeks had something to do with Boston, that he was here right before he made it, I said, that is very confusing information. I need to know why. And, you know, you flip over the back cover of Astro Weeks and there's references to Cambridge and Cape Cod.
Yeah.
And so it was that question. Why is this album associated with Boston that led to the magazine article, which led to the book?
Wow. And then that was 2018. You released Astro Weeks, March.
Yeah. So 2015, the magazine article came out.
Yeah.
Later that year, I got the book deal. And then yeah, it takes years to research, and then it get edited and printed. It's a long process to get a book out.
Wow. And then this is like a big question. Have you ever met Van himself? Have you ever?
No, I haven't. No, certainly not. And I was interested in interviewing him for the book, of course, or the magazine article. And, you know, it was just, I'm sure, as you know, Van doesn't love to do interviews, probably more now than ever.
Yeah.
And
that's a very good point.
He can be, yes, he can be super cantankerous and agitated, but I still was interested. And no matter what we tried, there was just no response. I had literally talked to every other living person who was on the record Astro Weeks except him. And
that must have seriously hurt. God.
Who?
No, I'm saying, imagine just you talk to all of them but not Van. Wow.
But I'll tell you, Logan, at a certain point it became a good thing. It was like he was almost like a ghost in the story, because, you know, he's not that young man anymore who I'm writing about.
Yeah, actually,
it became interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's actually a very fair point. And then you're right actually about Van and not liking interviews. I've heard that before a little bit about him. But that Astro Weeks album and then the Moonlighting album and
Moondance.
Sorry. Why did I say Moonlighting? I don't know where.
It's a terrific TV show starring Bruce Willis. And,
yeah, exactly. That's why I'm wondering where. But some of his music was brilliant. So
agreed.
What was it like to get the best rock artist award for Boston? Wow.
Oh, sure. Yeah. They have a local music awards called the Boston Music Awards. And in 2015, we won Best Rock Band and also for video. And I make all our music videos, or so far I do. Almost all of them. Actually, my friend Tyler Derryberry made a great one for the last album. And it felt great. You know, it was always nice to be recognized by your peers in your hometown. And, you know, at times we've tried to tour a lot and sometimes we get out there, but a lot of what we do is local. And a lot of what I like to do is write and record songs. So, you know, sometimes it's hard to get the same audiences in Boston that we get elsewhere because, you know, word travels slow.
Oh, you'll get there someday.
Thank you.
You will get there someday. And to be honest, I know a lot of people, when I was reading interviews about you, everybody seemed like they loved this band. And obviously you definitely deserved the award. But with your band, is there anything coming soon? Are you working on anything at the moment? It's not booked.
Yeah, well, we just released a brand new song, I think 3 weeks ago, called Super Glue to You. And it's a fun, short song. It's got a great guitar solo. We're not always known for guitar solos on our songs, so that's why I mention it. But we are working on a lot, and I can't explain what it is just yet, but we got a new song coming out later this summer. So we're busy right now, and it feels good. We feel like we're firing on all cylinders creatively,
Brilliant. Well,
Yeah.
I actually listened. I think I listened to that song, Super Glued to You, on Spotify.
Oh, great. Thanks a lot. I
And it was a
appreciate
very
that.
good song.
Thank you.
And then have you got any gigs coming up? Like, are you doing any live performances?
Yeah. So we played this weekend, but which means now I can announce that we're for all you Ireland listeners, plan your international travel now. September 10th at Jamaica Plain, which is part of Boston, JP Music Festival. We're going to play that next.
Wow. So you've obviously got a lot to do. Are you working on any more books?
Well, right now I'm working on a article for The Believer magazine. You ever hear that? The Believer magazine?
Oh.
It's good. They write a lot about music, but this article I'm working on isn't about music. So there's a little bit of a departure for me, but that's fun. It's good. Good for the brain,
Yeah.
But I always keep busy, and I would love to write a second book, and I'm sure I will someday, but it's just in the ideas phase right now.
Well, like with your band, like you're saying it was local that you were saying with your band, and I heard that there was this particular studio. And I was quite intrigued by this that you went to for all the albums. Which studio was that? And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, we've used different studios, so I'm not sure what I said. But
do you know that was a 2015?
2015. Okay, so
that was 7 years ago.
That's true. Oh, so I think I know what you're talking about, and that's a studio up near Rochester, New York, called 1809 Studios.
Yes, that was it. Was
yeah.
Because I remember you saying you use that studio a lot.
2 albums in a row, and Dave Drago producing and engineering. And what was great about that studio, Logan, is it's a bit of a drive for us. It's like, I forget, it's like 10 hours or something. And they have barracks there, almost like you're at summer camp, bunk beds. And so we would do sleepaway style. Let's go there. Let's all stay there 4 or 5 days, make a whole album, and then go home. Because if you're making an album in your own city, the temptation for people like, well, I'm going to go out to dinner with my girlfriend, and I'm going to go walk the dog. And then suddenly, you look around and no one's there to do overdubs with you. So it was a way to get us all out of our normal routine, so we would just focus on the albums.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're saying there with your little road trip for 10 hours. I said this to a guy that he was in Boston as well. Yeah. And I said, there is no 10-hour drives in Ireland, no matter where you go.
Right.
It's 6 hours from bottom to the top.
Okay.
So that'll give you an overview of how tiny Ireland is and how so many other people. It's crazy.
It's like a small it's a small. They say it's a small town,
world,
a small country.
In Ireland. Very small.
You go ahead.
So with your,
I have been there once, Logan.
Have you?
I did. I went to the Belfast Literary Festival when the book came out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So my final question, what was it like signing the deal to get your book by Penguin Press? Mm-hmm. They're a very big publishing company.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like for you?
It was a beautiful moment. It was a dream come true for sure. I would have always liked to write a book, but I wasn't sure it would ever happen. So when Ed Park, who edited the book, reached out to me after reading the magazine article, I thought someone was pranking me at first, but it was real. And then I worked really, really hard on it. And one of the hardest things I've ever done, writing that book, but also one of the most rewarding. And the nice thing is, people find it over the years. People are discovering it all the time. and reaching out to me because they're interested in one musician that's in it and it leads them to it, or someone recommends it. So it's kind of a thrill to people reach out, and I'm just reading it now, and this is blowing my mind. And it was a real honor to get to write all that history that had sort of been forgotten or ignored. Yeah, it was the thrill of a lifetime, really.
Now, I did just say that was my last question, but I've also
so long, bye.
I know I've actually got another question, and I just remembered it. I'm such an idiot.
No, you're not. You're great. This is a great show.
I've got a question now.
Yeah.
How do you go about writing your songs?
Okay. Well, I'm usually, okay, well, I'll say this. I keep a notebook with me or on my phone. And anytime I think of a phrase or a title or something that could be a title, or even if I don't think it, if I overhear someone say it, or if I read a sign that has an interesting phrase in it, I write it down. And then when it's time to write a song, I have all this raw material in a notebook. I sit down with my acoustic guitar, which is right over here. Yeah. And I'll just start to, I'll try to find a chord progression that captures my attention. And then I'll start to try to sing some of those words over it until I find a vocal melody.
So you play.
And yeah.
No, you continue. Sorry.
Well, I mean, just to say that, if the song is good, or if you're lucky, something cohesive comes from that moment where you're kind of just free associating with these couple different ingredients you put in your lap,
Cool. And then you said you play guitar. Do you play any other instruments apart from guitar?
I've been writing on piano lately just because I'm not as good as piano as guitar. I'm a good rhythm guitarist, but piano is a little, I'm way less proficient, but you play it different and it's organized different. So I write different kind of song on piano. So I've been doing that lately.
Wow. So thank you for coming on. We had a couple of final questions there.
Thank you, Logan.
But thank you for coming on. The pleasure's been all mine. I've loved talking to you, and I hope to see you again in the future.
All right, Logan, take care. And I think it's really cool you do this show. And thanks for having me on it.
Thanks, Ryan. Bye.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of Logan Sounds Off. You can follow me on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Logan Sounds Off. And don't forget to subscribe and not miss any more cool episodes. Bye, guys.